My Gavanen Melonin, and well met indeed. I am Araki Gallagher, head of the budding team behind Divide and Conquer, and welcome back to Divide and Conquer as we continue on as Angmar. In the lead up to version 3, I bring you version 3. At the moment, our army is gathering here in the lands between Nochfarachlor and Barchaleg. We are massing under Lord Skuld the Honourable. You can see his force gathering here. We shall be heading south with said force and hoping to get Ostsul if the Misty Mountains, or they're not called that anymore, I keep getting that, if Moria do not beat us to it. Oh, interesting, their capital is Zagkala, not Khazad West. That's weird. They must have changed it. Otherwise, a recent attempt at taking Ostsul was beaten back, but otherwise we're not doing too badly. Economically, we are sound. And our army gathers. I think I am at an end turn, so I shall go ahead and do that. Now, something I was just thinking of, just before the screen changed there, we were looking at the town of Bruinost, and which of course translates from the Sindarin into the Bruin town. And of course the Bruin is a river. And I named the town as Bruinost because I thought that was a rather fitting name, but also it did then make me chuckle because a lot of real life towns are named in that exact way. A town that I live very near, for example, Luton, is named after the River Lee that runs through it, thus Lee Town. And but then, of course, in English we also have something which I've not seen in other nations that use English, which is names that are by rivers that are a little more hit you over the head with how obviously named after the river they are, such as Stratford upon Avon and Newcastle upon Tyne, which, of course, don't really leave any guesses as to what they mean. Oh, look at the army we're gathering here. Enough to take all the north in our great nation. Are you training out else? Oh, you've got quite a lot coming, actually. Litash, what are you on? Retraining, by the looks of things. That's good. Khandum's forces are ending with that last one that's coming out now. Got a couple of good units there, though.
Your orders,
right, so if we take those cavalry, which we will do, which will be another slot, and we want those 2 archers and the pikes, which will be 3 of their own. That would leave only 1 space left. Shadun is sending 2 units of wargs and a conscript unit, and then the 2 hillmen are going to stay here. Or aren't the hillmen moving out to these towns? Yes, I believe they are. Memory serves. We want the 2 hillmen are going to move out, I think, to Athelin. No, that's got its garrison. To Barchaleg, indeed. So we're not worried about the hillmen. The conscripts are going to stay here to be the garrison. So I think we're all right is maybe the motto. You guys move down. Gentlemen follow suit. You can scoot over and pick him up and then move back. Anything there that's not really worth it? Those hillmen, don't bother taking them.
Yes, my lord.
Otherwise, I think that'll be alright. More than enough to take Ostsul. Keep mustering on the lines. And what are we building wherever we can build? Litash is finishing a mason's hall. Should do nothing. Morvadath getting a leather tanner. Imladris is not building us a thing. Venice Drunen cannot build, but it has an armory lined up. That would be useful to get. Just in case they do decide to come back for us. Although the Misty Mountains did not... Moria did not take Ostsul. Enedwaith and Isengard are at war with each other, and Gundabad and the Woodland Realm are... I think we could go another end turn. Changes have been made to the diplomacy in version 3. That, again, courtesy of RK, the man of many talents, and fortunately our great saviour, and to who we should praise highly for his care of those souls passing on to the afterlife. But he edited the diplomacy. He stumbled upon, or rather worked out, a method by which enemies that are supposed to be enemies will now remain enemies. And what I mean by that is that you will no longer have things like Erebor and Gundabad allying halfway through the campaign because their relations have become so great that they feel that is the best thing to do. Whilst, of course, it is still at its core a human game, i.e. the game is designed around the nations being human, so any alliances and enemies can take place. We do want to try and keep it at least as close to the law as possible, and that's one of the best ways to do it. So hopefully you won't get any of those bizarre alliances. And it also means we don't have to implement a system whereby we force nations to go to war with each other, because that's what we really did not want to do. Athelin was not building, and now it is, so that's another Mason's Hall lined up. Goberdrine's also after a Mason's Hall. And then that'll be what this one sells me. Mason's Hall, Leather Tanner, another Mason's Hall. I would like Fenestrinen to get that armory, so I'm not going to queue anything until we can get that built.
Yes, my
Lord Skuld only has 4 more slots. He's got 2 archers coming there, a unit of wargs there, and that unit of wargs will be the last one. So do stand over on that one, actually. And you fellows, I don't really know what to do with you. Nor yourselves. Well, you guys could go back here and retrain, actually. So we'll do that. The conscripts that you've got there move out to Morvatarth, and we'll swap them for the hillmen, who we'll also send back. And then the other conscripts will remain as the garrison, and the final hillman will move out to become the garrison of Barchaleg, which will also return to Shadoon for retraining, is the plan. Ah, we also need Goberdrine. Ah, Goberdrine! That's where the hillmen are going, methinks. Or is Angsul going to provide for them? Angsul's going to provide for them, and it already has. Send those out.
By your command, we can go no further.
Best place for them, back to Kharndom.
As you wish, my lord.
Perfect.
March to exhaustion, splitting
Perfect. Oh, the icons. I love the icons. I appreciate they are markedly different from the old icons, but oh, God, do I love them. I'm sorry, everyone, but they are my favourite thing about version 3. I really like them. Every single one of them. Many people, so far, the icons of contention, if we are to call them that, would be Dol Guldur. People aren't wholly set on the tree covering the eye, but I think that's a perfect representation of Dol Guldur. Because Dol Guldur essentially shouldn't be. It's one of those kind of stretches to the lore a bit, but with quite a solid founding. But they shouldn't really be their own nation. They should just be a subset of Mordor. And so, the fact that they have Sauron's eye in their iconography is perfect, because it represents that exact feature, that they are a subset of Mordor. And then the tree, of course, alludes to the fact that they are based in southern Mirkwood, which is a forest. A lot of people suggested we have some sort of spider or something relating to necromancy, because, of course, Sauron was known as the necromancer for a long time. But how do you represent necromancy in an icon? And also, the spiders were never expressly allied to or working for Sauron. They just happened to live in Mirkwood, and they were rather aggressive. They weren't sent by Sauron to capture the Dwarven party or anything. They were just there, and the Dwarven party stumbled upon them. So I don't feel like spiders really represent Dol Guldur.
Your orders.
The army is ready. We will take it this time. So I'm pleased with that design. The other one of contention so far, to my knowledge, is Mordor's itself. People suggest that perhaps Mordor's is a little too simple or simplistic. But I don't think that's the case. I think simplicity rules when you're looking at icons. You want something that you can look at and instantly know that's Mordor, that's the Easterlings, that's Isengard. And Mordor's is the only one that has that kind of stylized eye, and I think it represents them perfectly. And then for the brighter and more ferocious eye, of course, represents Sauron himself, which is that one just next to the Ardenaeum. You never actually see it because the Papal States turn takes no time whatsoever, so in the turn scroll, it always skips over them. But the Papal States are there. Oh, they're not the Papal States, sorry. This recent bout of almost non-stop modding has just messed with my head so much, and I keep naming factions by what they are in the files. And I don't mean to do it because of like, oh, check me out, I know so much about the game, I know all the game's internal factions. I'm so used to calling them by their file names. Because obviously, whilst you guys who play the game, you see the factions as we want you to see them. This is Angmar, this is the Northern Dunedain. But in every file within that we are always working on, they are always referred to as a European nation. It's taking so much longer to build this armory, Christ. And so that's all I see. Normans, Turks, Scotland for Dale. It's just, it's almost, the names are totally interchangeable to me. But it is always with Dorwinian that I stumble. I keep calling Dorwinian Byzantium. I just can't shake it. That is the other icon of contention. I've spoken so much about the icons in the past, like 5 episodes. I'm so sorry. The Misty Mountains and Gundabad. Some feel that Gundabad's icon doesn't really reflect the kind of gate, the red gates that we've given all of their other iconography. And all the mountain orcs have gained their... have either just expanded, I didn't bother reading it, or they've just gained their last stand. Where was I going to send these? Barkaleg.
Yes.
No, that's got its own hillman.
Continuing later. Orders.
Ah, brilliant, you made it though. Get those hillmen back.
As you wish.
Morvatar doesn't need a garrison, does it?
My lord.
They've all got nice, solid, firm garrisons. I just don't think we need it. So I suppose you could just split yourselves. One goes to Barkaleg, and one goes to Barkaleg.
Your will, my lord. Yes.
Well, we don't need your training point to be down there anymore. Thank you. And then kindly retrain. I'm hoping that's not experience and that is just actual retraining. I'm also really... yes, finally. The armory is in. Right, so we can queue up some buildings now. Let's start in places that are going to make us quite a bit of money in time. So I would like a Mason's Hall for Imladris and Khan Durm. We'll focus on those two. How much money are we going to make? 2,000. So you can build something that costs under 1,000. So I'll take the leather tanner. That should do it as we approach
Your orders, my lord.
Sul, which they've upgraded, so it will no longer be Amun Sul. It is now a town. Oh, they've got quite the garrison there, really, haven't they? Have we got a fort near Fenestrinin? No. Fenestrinin. I keep saying Druinin, and now I'm adding as not only a syllable, but a completely imaginary vowel. Very poor form. We're about to hit the barracks event. Sometime between 64 and 68 turns. We can set that to be whatever we want. We could make it a random turn between, like, turn 40 and 100, for example, and then you'd never know when it was coming. And to be honest, I'd favour something akin to that, but it would throw the balance out of certain campaigns. But then variety's the spice of life, is it not? I may well petition for post-version 3 to make the barracks event spawn period bigger. So it could come... I would say 60 is a solid start turn. I don't think it should come before turn 60. But I'd happily have it pushed a little further back. So it could come as late as turn 80, for example.
As you command.
We got our Mason's Hall in Gobadryan. Khan Dum is building. And Imladris is not.
What you want?
But we're not training anything. We're only retraining. And they don't cost anything. Surely. No, it is really experience. Oh, I thought it was retraining actual troops.
My lord.
Apparently not.
Your command.
Chuck Lice goes in the fort. We might as well send another one.
Your will, my lord.
I'd rather take the hillmen and leave the conscripts as garrison.
Orders.
And those two merging. There we are. Just end the turn again, I suppose. We're just ticking along, really, aren't we? We will be attacking Ostsul in a moment, though, and that will probably then be the bulk of the video. I do hope the final developer diary gave you all enough excitement in seeing what is to come. And as we really draw down to the time now, this time what we've opted for, and I don't mind telling you, is in previous iterations we've tested and tested and tested and tested, and then we've built the installer. We've done about normally a day's worth of testing on the installer and then released it. Partially through my own impatience, and but also because, generally speaking, if the installer works for one, it's going to work for everyone. If something is broken with the installer, everyone will have a problem. Whereas if only one person out of 10 has a problem with the installer, then it is fairly confident. We are fairly confident. The problem is with them and not the installer. So generally speaking, we don't spend much time testing the installer. But this time what we've opted for is a longer test period once the installer was built. So we've built the installer. That's just to tell you how close we really are getting. But we're going to give it a little bit of time to test first. But rest assured, we really are coming down to it. Now, one way to get economic bonuses is to have free upkeep. So all of these current units that are standing out here giving us upkeep, draining our upkeep is a better word, having them be free would be a way to get economic bonuses. But of course, that means you're building buildings that don't then actually give you money, and that's what you want to try and avoid. We could get communal farming. We could wait 4 more turns and build a mining network. Same thing there. It's not really very lucrative though. I think sticking with trying to increase our wealth would be good. As you'll note there, we get... No, the corruption will go up to 39, annoyingly. Trade will go up by about 40, and our building income will double. So that is quite a good building to build, really, the grain exchange, and I will go with one. Who else wants a grain exchange? You want a grain exchange. Grain exchanges for everyone. Grain exchanges for everyone. That's only just building its masons hall. Goodness. Why doesn't Fetish Druiden like me that much? I mean, I'm being a good host, friends. A very good host. Ah, we are there.
Yes,
oh, Ostall's garrison has just massively expanded. Just as we arrive, the buggers... Oh, and the Grey Havens of Linden like us. What did I do with the Grey Havens? Did I sell their map information? Ered Lewin.
Without question.
I'll sell you my map
Stopping
information.
Here.
Bari Donionak is also... I am going to focus down here on the southeast and then kind of push our way northwest so that we then get a united front against Ered Lewin. I really don't mind this time if I do... normally I try and value viewing enjoyment over gameplay advances. So I'm well aware that some decisions that I make are folly, but at least they then provide better entertainment. For example, not sieging every town out and rather attacking straight away. So you get to see the city, you get to see the siege equipment, things like that. But I would quite like to, for once, for my own benefit, my own soul, show myself that I can win one of these campaigns. Do note as well, as I have said before, and I'll probably remind you in every episode, that my playing of Angmar here represents a different type of Angmar than you will receive when the game releases. Because we have made Angmar much harder. On feedback from the beta testers, on feedback from me just playing this, we have tried to increase the difficulty of Angmar as a faction. And I've just seen the dwarves are coming, and that is not an army we can ignore. So we are going to have to put some of that wealth into troops. And they're 2 turns away. We can't risk it. You're going to have to move out.
Move!
Can't do focus on Angsul. If we can, we try and head them off and stand on a bridge. But it looks like the dwarves are coming. Even more reason why we need to... Goodness, Gandalf's just arrived.
You, my enemy.
Your orders, my lord.
I'm glad that you respect me, Gandalf, because I would like to massacre you.
Yes.
I will massacre you! Do we have any troops here that can head north? Because you're wasted sitting in here.
Yes.
More of Fanazir, take those archers. Oh, the Barrowites, definitely. And those. The rest is all garbage.
Yes.
If you could, get back to the homeland, build another army.
Won't be to their liking.
Although I might leave a Fanazir to be a tower builder once the army's done.
Yes.
Moorholt's a very good unit. A Fanazir's just our kind of basic general. Yeah, you can be a scout kind of general. Moorholt, you get back.
We go no further today.
1,500. Can you train anything else? No. Angsul, do you want to chuck a couple of those into the mix if you can? Oh, I'd really like the meeting hall. 3 recruitment slots. Oh, I would like that instead of that. Now, there's enough to get 1 and 1. Should be enough to get 1 and 1. Stupid idiot. Not realising Angsul was going to be a pivotal defensive point. Athelin is not going to be as important, so send those conscripts north. Similarly, Nokra Glory is actually going to be one of our least contested points, so also send them north. Also cuts down the garrisons, which is nice. Alright, let's see what happens.
Splitting the troops.
The Breland. I much prefer the shorter names as well. They were kind of flowered up a while ago in DaC. So you've got things like Dwarves of Erebor, Dwarves of Ered Luin, Kingdom of Dale, Principality of Dol Amroth, Clans of Enedwyth, Easterlings of Rune. Preempting. But I personally prefer that. Mordor, Dol Guldur, Isengard, Dunland, Ered Luin, Erebor. I prefer just the short, snappy names, personally. The flowery names, always put flowery names in any kind of text, in any kind of flavour text especially. Always write Kingdom of Gondor or things like that. But otherwise I would just favour standard basic names.
my lord. Yes, I shall continue.
Fitting
tomorrow.
names, though. Like, I wouldn't change Haradrim tribes to Harad. I would keep that as Haradrim tribes.
Your will, my lord.
Bugger.
As you wish, yes.
They've gone for Goberdrine. Right, new
An
plan.
order.
The one who kills the ogre.
Are you? Yes.
Right, gather at Angsul,
Your will, my lord.
and then you're going to have to all move
Yes,
south.
my lord. As you wish.
And our army in Ostsul, we will siege them out. As I say, I'm going to try and go for the win, which may mean you may see less battle maps than perhaps you usually see. Oh, look at this mug. Oh, they've brought the most aggressive-looking general they've got. Can't even see his eyes.
I'll rip off your head and orders.
And by judging by the interactions we're getting when we talk to them, they're not pleased to see us. Oh, and Breland! Oh, Breland. Breland stepping their game up. Things in the south aren't as secure as I'd hoped. I was hoping it was a feint. And they were just going to wander around our town. But it's not to be. And they're going straight in for it as well. Bugger. I much prefer these little flag designs. I'm very disappointed that they have to be squares now rather than these nice little flags. I think they're so much better looking. Right, with 3 units of pikemen, that's a pain. Firebeard warriors, Firebeard warriors, Firebeard warriors. That's a solid army. I mean, every Dwarven army is a solid Dwarven army. I'm not going to fight that, though. I mean, it's a guaranteed loss. And even if we took over control, we're not going to get many more kills. Those were 2 trash units versus a fully fledged Ered Luin army. But of course, things are now thrown into sharp relief, and we must press on with our assault of the Dunedain to remove that threat so that we can focus on the real danger. I was going to say damage. Ered Luin, who come for our very souls. They're going to be strong, aren't they? Great tidings, my lord! Our armories and supply lines are now operating at full capacity and our war effort has achieved maximum potency. Once the necessary supporting facilities are provided, our finest warriors and tools of war shall be yours to command. You need only march them to victory. Very optimistic.
An order.
Right, even more need for you to get home.
We'll stop.
The Fanazir is just going to wait until we've got Ostsul, which we should take easily enough. We've got the goblins there in support. Built a load of buildings. What can you now train? Ah, yes. Iron Crown units come to the fore. Right.
Your will, my lord.
Captain Lindor. Pull back. You men, pull back.
Joining forces, my lord.
Everything there. Pull out.
No, I'm only here to fight.
Where's
with
our other... there. Hoonborn. Get over here.
Marched our limit.
Get over here!
Your will, my lord.
Everyone, form up
As
on
you wish.
Agandar. What's happening? Moria and Lothlorien, Moria and Bree, and Dunedain and... They've signed not only a non-aggression pact, they've taken it to a full alliance to fight against us. Just because we took their capital. Buggers. I mean, if they take our capital, we wouldn't have a little hissy fit about it. But no. Take their capital and they're throwing the rattles out of the prams. They've jumped out of the pram and they're throwing it around like it's made of nothing.
Orders. March to exhaustion.
Let's see where they go though. Oh, just as I was going to sell them my map information as well. Would they be stupid enough to fund my war effort by buying map information from me? Oh, that's troublesome. Our army's not yet fully gathered. Agandau just has hillmen, so pull away. We don't even have any archers to utilise the crossing. Why would you go that way? Oh, my goodness. You're not fit to be our leader. On this one event alone, I have just deemed Agandau unworthy. A Fanazir or Morholt is going to have to take over. Or better yet, Skuld. Skuld is untested. His battle at Ostsul will be his first call to war. Agandauer, of course, is a fool. He has managed to, or I suppose actually, if we really break it down, he's a strategical genius. Somehow, he's managed to, whilst holding a bridge, the enemy has approached him on the western side, and he has decided to run away from that battle by walking towards the enemy and going past them to get away from them.
Yes.
So, who do we think is the real genius here? Because I'm thinking Agendauer.
Merging armies, my lord.
Take those hillmen.
Yes. Your will, my lord. Order.
Have you got any archers at all? Gods, no, we don't. It's an army of hillmen, and hillmen are our basic unit. Poor form. Very poor form. Guardians of Kharndum are available after the barracks event. Oh, that's cool. But we can't get them. 19 more turns. Also, look, you're sitting in there doing now. Come with us.
By your command.
You're definitely going to be needed. Ah, 1 unit of archers. Yes.
Camp here.
And Hoonvorn,
Orders.
get over there and support.
By your
We're going to need you.
Yes.
We've got a full battalion of archers there
Yes,
coming
you
back.
command.
But it'll be a while
I've
yet.
tried whipping them.
Oh, the Dundine seem to be abandoning us, so
My lord.
can't really leave our southern side undefended. But, just as I was saying, the Angmar campaign is going to be made harder. We are now teetering on the edge of collapse. Yes, we have a nice army in Ostsul, but Breland may at any moment, as they're just now doing, attack us. And Fenris-Druinen has no real defense. A Fanazir versus Journeyman, Breland Militia, and a Ballaster. Go on. We'll fight it. Because otherwise this battle has been ending turn again this episode. So. YouTube's about to get a whole lot spicier again as we enter Adpocalypse round number 2. So any meager income that I can expect from YouTube, just for people watching the ads basically, is probably going to dissipate. Yeah, so that's disappointing. Right, we want to use trickery and everything we can to close the gap. And the trees. The trees are a big part of our success here. And run, please.
I speak with the Witch King's voice.
This is a generic bodyguard of Angmar, the Witch Knights. They are Angmarim, they are not Dark Numenorians. And there, leading them, is a Fanazir. Now, the Journeymen are crossbow units. They are armor-piercing. The Ballaster is a rather deadly machine of war, and we don't really want to take any of those shots. Once the Journeymen finish with their crossbows, they are then rather poor in melee, really, but they do have armor-piercing after the crossbow as well. The Militia, however, are still as trash as they always were and not a threat at all. So what we need to do, really, is hammer down into the Journeymen as quickly as possible and stop them using their crossbows. Which is looking like it might work, because we are cresting the hill, which is giving us protection. Ideally, I want to shut down the Ballaster, because the Ballaster is a guaranteed kill whenever it hits us. No, they're backing away. Go for the Ballaster crew. Shut them down. Yes! Oh, they flanked us. They flanked us. You're getting a taste of the new sound effects, courtesy of Europa Barbarum 2, and courtesy of El Monstero for porting them into DaC. We will absolutely smash these militia, and if the Journeymen are going to run away... Oh, look at that Brie little flag. It's so cool. Just a little piece of corn. Ah, lovely. Makes me want to play Brie just to look at the icon more. The militia will die so easily. I'm really hoping that the fact that Journeymen are quite poor once they actually get into melee, as you can see, should help us. Journeymen are basically as bad as militia, but they happen to have crossbows and then hammers once they finish with their crossbows. Oh, they're actually shooting us. Come on, men. Oh, they've disregarded their... Oh, they aren't armor-piercing anymore. They used to have hammers, but now you'll note some of them have swords. Oh no, that's just the officer. They are still armor-piercing. I think, anyway. I mean, I could be guessing. The militia aren't dying as we're fighting uphill. But if we can loop round, get that kind of hill advantage. The large shields of the Journeymen look good. The Journeymen just look really good, don't they? They're simple yet crisp, which is how I like all of my units to look. Simple design, nothing too elaborate, and just nice sharp textures. I think they look good. Come on, we've got to be killing the militia.
Our men have the enemy are badly bloodied. Our foolish general has
It's over.
That's our chances of victory with it.
Well, the Lion of Agandau has just died off. I don't know who's managed to kill him. The Journeymen are all the way over there. How has a Breeland militia just slain our faction heir? Or potential faction heir? Close them down. This would have been a perfect victory, but now, even when we win,
We've lost half of our men.
we're still going to lose the entire battalion, and Afanasir is dead. Although we don't have to pay for him anymore. There's always every cloud.
The enemy army flees the field. Pursue and run them down.
Just capture us a couple more there. See, we won, and
This is
we
a
didn't
clear
win.
victory.
A phenomenal victory is what I would call that. But we actually still lost because Afanasir died. That's so frustrating. I've never really known what that's an image of, I'm afraid. It looks an awful lot like a depiction of Dol Guldur, but there's no real point in Dol Guldur's history where it's littered with a battlefield around it. The only time Dol Guldur, to my knowledge, is ever sieged, it's destroyed, because Galadriel and Celeborn siege it after the end of the War of the Ring. And Galadriel uses her powers to lay down its walls and throw its pits bare. And I don't think it's ever sieged other than that. So I don't know a time when there would be troops littered around it. It could be Barad-dûr maybe then in that case, but I strongly doubt it. Now the dwarves have just played their hand. I feel like we've maybe got a chance. We can go and stand next to them. I am, however, going to end the episode once we do our last little bits in this one. But then at least we know the next episode will be action-packed with the attack of Ostsul and the defense of Angsul. If you're interested in names, Angsul means Iron Wind, quite literally. And Ostsul, of course, means Wind Town or Windy Town. Which also, incidentally, on the New Zealand hype, is the nickname of Wellington. There you go, impress your friends. I'm secretly actually quite pleased that Afanasir is dead, because I would quite like the line of the Númenóreans to end. Although, blimey, he was very prolific before he went. Asabian, Macbetha, Rechared, and Herbel are all his offspring, with Ingeborg. So, Agandau's line is secured in 3 grandchildren, although he also has grandsons. Sorry, the daughters do count, but no, the daughters do count because they can marry in, can't they? So we'll be all right. We've got 6 people coming of age, all fairly close to each other in about 10 years' time.
An order.
We'll have plenty of generals.
Orders.
Right. No. Oh no. Yeah, just stand there. Thank you.
My lord.
Get everyone to stand right next to them. And say, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. They definitely will come and have a go, and they're definitely hard enough because we've got an army of hillmen.
Orders.
And for all of their great talents, the men of Ruadau lack one thing, and that is, of course, strength. I am a little disappointed that Afanasir has died, though. I'm very disappointed in the goblins being unable to hold Bree back. What do they think they're doing? Oh, and look at that. As soon as we take Ostsul, Bree are going to step it up. Councilman Andy is arriving with an army of... They're coming to aid the Dunedain. We didn't think of Bree. I always disregard Bree because I know how weak they are. But en masse, and when you're already fighting 2 enemies, they are a bit of a threat. But anyway, that's where this episode is going to end. I hope tomorrow to record, so it'll probably go up on Sunday. The top 10 human archers, as I've got some time this weekend. So that's what I hope to do. And then I will also do Gundabad for you in this little rotation. It's been a while since we've been back at Gundabad, because Angmar, of course, has taken precedence. But that's it for now. I'm off to enjoy my toad in the hole. And if you don't know what that is, I encourage you to look it up and learn something about English food that isn't just we like chocolate. But until we speak again, dear friends, na varna den per med melonin, and farewell.